This is a slideshow of my backpacking trip from Tuolumne Meadows to Sonora Pass in June of 2015. The first couple of shots here, Tuolumne Meadows, the deer were very tame here, obviously. Had no problem with me walking right on by them. And then in this shot, looking to the southwest, across part of Tuolumne Meadows, and then here's a little bit further to the west-southwest. You see Cathedral Peak there on the right. And then this is looking further to the south along Lyle Canyon, heading up towards Donahue Pass, I suppose. And then here's the river. We have a fly fisherman there. Saw an awful lot of people carrying fishing rods on this trip, even several days into the trip. And this is looking up the canyon again. And now I'm up at the end of the meadows and looking down into Tuolumne Canyon. And this is looking up Cold Canyon, where I'm going to be heading in a little bit. And then this next shot here, you can see the river cascading down into the canyon and towards right near Glen Aulin. And this shot is actually from Glen Aulin High Sierra Camp, basically. You can see the water cascading down. And here's a nice shot of Cold Canyon. There's a meadow that went along for a couple of miles. This is a big chunk of it. And here's a nice panoramic shot of that meadow. This is where I first started to encounter mosquitoes. And then this is the second day, heading up a ridge. And then once I get up to the top of the ridge, there's a nice little knoll. Had this nice panoramic view. This is looking pretty much to the south right at this point here. Quite a bit of snow on those north-facing slopes. Made me wonder what was up ahead for me. And then this is, continuing up the ridge even further. Pretty rugged mountains in the background. And then once I got to the very top of the ridge, I also tried out my first selfie shot there with a clamp on my trekking pole. And this is Miller Lake. I had thought about spending the night here the first night, but I didn't get there. Turns out probably a good idea. A lot of mosquitoes there. And this is Matterhorn Canyon. Beautiful canyon here. Very deep. I'm heading for the bottom of that as part of the trail. But if you zoom in on those mountains in the distance there, you see this very rugged range. It's very, very pretty in there. Then once I got to the bottom of the canyon, I saw this cliff here, and I was really impressed with how sheer that cliff was. And I took a couple of shots of just the woodlands that I was walking through. I'm so used to hiking through High Sierra that walking through forest was quite a treat. This is Benson Pass, on the top of Benson Pass, looking west, and then looking back east again. And then again, broke out the selfie stick clamp. Got a shot of myself with a mosquito on my forehead. And then took a short video. Okay, I'm on top of Benson Pass right now. This is the valley I came up behind me there. Got some snow. Haven't had to walk across any yet. Probably will on the way down. Mosquitoes are appearing now. And then this is a nice little meadow, and again, look at all the snow on the north-facing slopes. Still haven't had to worry about crossing the copious amounts of snow. The trail is well positioned so that it's mainly on south-facing slopes. But it was really very pretty scenery. You see lots of water there. And this is Smedberg Lake. And this is where I broke out my mosquito netting. I was hiking along. Didn't really need to, but I did anyway. And this is the third morning, and you see the sunrise. And then there off to the right is the canyon I'm going to be heading up to get to the pass. And then for a little bit off to the left there, further down at the bottom, you can see Benson Lake. The trail doesn't actually go to Benson Lake. It gets pretty close to it. And there's another shot of the canyon up to Spivey Pass. And again, couldn't resist taking pictures of the nice lush forest that I'm hiking through for a change. And then as I was starting to get up the passway, I was looking back the way I had come. I had started off down in that canyon in the morning. And this is a very pretty little lake right up near the top of the pass. It was just amazingly clear water, nice and calm, no wind. That'll change later on, but no wind, beautiful. Took a nice panoramic shot of it also. Great reflections off of the water there. And then once I got over the pass, I didn't take any pictures from the pass because there was nothing to see. It was the least inspiring pass I've ever seen, I think. But this is on the other side, and I like this shot of the tree leaning out over the lake with its reflection on the down off of the water. And here's a tree on a small rock growing out in the middle of a pond, basically. Too small to call a lake. And there was another rock with a bunch of flowers growing on it out in that little lake, little pond. And again, the trail wanders through these lush forests. Really pretty. And then you start to drop down into the canyon here. I think it's a Kennedy Canyon. And it's pretty steep getting down in there, but very pretty. Obviously a lot of exposed granite, so the views are really nice. One of the issues of getting pictures earlier was that there were so many trees that it really was hard to see the view. But like I said, I'm heading down to the bottom of this canyon. And then again, hiking through the nice forest. And then the next day was very overcast, and it was going to be raining. This is one of 3 shots I got that day is all. This is before it started raining early in the morning. This is what the day looked like for the most part. Took this picture standing underneath a tree to protect the camera. And then this picture is near the next pass. That's Dorothy Lake. And it's right near Dorothy Lake Pass where I left Yosemite. The next morning was bright and clear. You know, beautiful view. I'm going to be heading up there. You see that zigzag line, the upper left. Obviously a road there. Here I am heading up that road, and the road behind me there. I wasn't going.
You can probably hear the wind. And then up there you can see the clouds blowing by. Yes, indeed. It is just a little bit windy this morning.
And here's the road that I was heading up. It's, you know, obviously an old road. This is a wilderness area now, so it's not used by traffic. And if you look down the little meadow in the center, that's where I had started out a couple hours earlier and camped the night before. This is looking off to the south, basically back the way I had come. And then there, that's looking more to the east. Obviously, crossing a little bit of snow there.
Some clouds blowing by. Justice thought it needed to take a video. Sorry.
Okay, and then you can look down this zigzag section that I had climbed up already this morning. If you zoom in closely, you can see that there's somebody following along behind me. You can see him silhouetted against the snow there. And more video.
So, you say I got my head up in the clouds? Yeah. Pretty much the rest of me too, right now.
Okay, as you can hear in the videos, it was pretty darn windy. And this is looking down into the canyon that leads to Tuolumne Meadows. And this is looking back the way I had come along the trail there. You can see that it's nothing but rock. And then we have a nice panorama here showing, I'll be heading off to the left there at the beginning of that. And then this is looking almost due east at this point here. Very pretty scenery, very rugged in this area. And this is looking further to the south. And this is approaching the top of the ridge, which will allow me to drop down to get to Sonora Pass. And this is a shot of the, again, to the east there. And try to get a good shot to the south, but the clouds are forming as quickly as they're moving. And see the tracks in the snow? I just came down that slope there. Had a pretty good clip there, tried to slide as much as possible. Nice little frozen lake down there in the bottom. And in this next shot, you can see that little notch is where the trail goes. You see the trail leading to it? That's the pass right there. A little knife edge ridge. And again, clouds are forming as the air is being pushed up over these hills. Very, very rugged. This volcanic rock just crumbles really easily, weathers an awful lot compared to the granite. And that's looking down the Sonora Pass Road towards Bridgeport.
Okay, the end is in sight, pretty much literally. It's straight ahead, it's Sonora Pass. First time I've looked down at it. I thought this little lake here is really cool. No way to get this in one picture without Photoshop.
So I took another couple of pictures of this little lake rimmed with ice and snow. And then this is looking down the canyon to the west. This is the bottom of the canyon, the road leading to Sonora Pass, from the west. And there's the pass itself, right in the center, down at the bottom of that ridge. And this shows, if you look carefully, you can see some snowboard tracks going down there. Apparently people hike up to the top and snowboard down. And I had to cross this entire snowfield to get to Sonora Pass. You see the tracks leading off to the right there. And then here's a view of the pass itself. There's a canyon leading up from the west, there in the center, comes up, and the top of that ridge, there you see the road straight ahead in the center. That's right at the top of the pass, and then looking off towards Bridgeport. And that was my trip.